What's good,
Got it.
beautiful people? Hi, it's your man Mo Tillis, agency owner of the Tillis Insurance Group, and I got a very, very special guest here to drop some bombs on you. Today, I actually have Lafayette Crawford III. He is the CEO of Crawford Business Consulting. Mr. Crawford, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, sir. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's a blessing, man. Appreciate you being on here with us. So I have a knack for finding really, really great talent, and I want to bring the best people that I find to my network to serve them. And you have a really good business model going on right now. We were able to connect shortly, and I said, you know what, I gotta bring them on. So if you would, Mr. Crawford, could you share a little bit about your business and exactly how it is you serve business owners?
Yeah, absolutely. Crawford Business Consulting, it's a full service consulting firm. We focus on helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, and also mid-sized organizations establish a solid foundation for their business. We also work with expansions as well. Do a number of different things from business planning, not just the standard business plan, lean two-page, here's my idea, but also doing the financial and industry analysis to support the viability of the business, so that we can connect it with some of our financial partners, whether it be SBA, whether it be grant searching, just to help individuals get funding for their business, as well as establish timelines and goals for their success. A lot of individuals in that 9 to 5 situation, you come across the realization one day that, you are just a number in the organization and you may have a dream and a passion that you want to achieve. So basically, we just act as a bridge to help individuals get there.
Wow, that's amazing. So when we were talking, you actually spoke about some of the ups and downs that business owners face.
Hmm.
One from a aspect of yourself being a business owner, and then the people that we serve. So a lot of times, people want to get into business ownership and thinking it's all tea and biscuits. I just wanted you to talk about some of those ups and downs and exactly how you overcame them in your business, or perhaps how you help business owners to overcome some of those challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. It all boils down to a plan, right? Having a plan, building the plan, and then working the plan. When you aren't going into a job where you have a manager telling you what you need to do to achieve your goals, um, you have to have a level of self accountability, self discipline, and the most important thing would be consistency. Owning a business and operating it and taking your passion and bringing it to the world is great. But when you get in the trenches, there's a number of things that you'll deal with. And some call them bottlenecks, some call them hurdles. But ultimately, when you're in those moments, those dark moments, right? Those moments where you have things that you're faced with that you're not necessarily prepared for, we find that those are growth opportunities, right? Those growth opportunities, they may not be financially rewarding in some cases, but they are definitely from a knowledge base, great learning lessons of how to either shift, how to adjust your business model, or your processes. A lot of times we think that we have the best process out there and find out that, well, change is the only thing that's constant. So maybe you need to make adjustments to continue to be successful. So yeah, there are ups and downs, there are highs and lows. And at the end of the day, some people call it the entrepreneurial roller coaster. But there's always, in the end, there's always an opportunity to continue to go forward and to continue to build. So, just understanding that and being aware of that, I think, is the first thing. The most important concept is having your mind right. And when you have your mind right and your vision is clear and you have your plan, there's no bottleneck, there's no hurdle that you can't overcome. It's just a matter of being consistent and continuing to drive, just working within your passion.
Heavy, heavy. I love that, man. So
Yeah.
I guess before we go into a couple tips, because you are a consultant, what you do is amazing. You pretty much laid it out for us, and I want you to drop a couple more jewels. But before we do that, we talked about the shirt. My favorite superhero growing up was Cyclops from the X-Men because he was a leader. And I
Yeah.
totally identify with that whole thing. And I asked you, because you got the Batman shirt on today, is that happenstance or is there some type of connection there? And your answer was remarkable. And I love that because you talk about growth. And I think that being a business owner is all about mindset. But talk about the Batman shirt, man. I
Yeah.
asked you, is that your favorite superhero? And your answer
Oh,
was phenomenal, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, man. Growing up, we grew up in that comic book phase, right? So, out of all the superheroes out there, basically you had individuals from other planets, you had individuals that fell into vats of chemicals and transformed, but Batman's the only individual that, he was straight up human. And what he did was he just had the resources, right? He had the resources to fight crime, he had the resources to change a society, he had the resources to leave a positive mark. Even though there were dark moments, it was just a matter of equipping himself so that he could deal with any opponent, man. And I definitely look to Batman as, my favorite superhero in the low. I've got a couple others. Wolverine was a beast, but yeah, Batman, he was the epitome of, taking what you have and then maximizing it, right? He couldn't fly, so he found a way to fly. He couldn't fight or stop bullets, so he changed his gear so that he was able to be safe in that situation. And I definitely relate to the concept of a Batman, because at the end of the day, we all are individuals and we all have the ability to leave an impact. It's just a matter of having that right tool belt. So that was kind of my answer, man. Batman. And Wolverine's a beast too. We touched on that Marvel situation where no matter what hit him, he just kept coming. He healed up and kept coming. So that's how I kind of related to him as well.
I love that, man. You know what? We're just gonna have to have an episode where we talk about these characters. Because one for me is Juggernaut. I find him to be very interesting. So his weakness was under his helmet,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
nobody could get to him until he was vulnerable up in his headspace. So yeah, we're gonna have to get into that one day.
yeah,
But
for sure, man.
look, I know you're a very, very productive person, and I appreciate your time. But before I let you go, I gotta get into some of these economical tips. As a
Okay.
consultant, just to kind of give people a little peek behind what they can expect when they work with you. So we usually do up to three. The last person did one, but we got enough time to let you go ahead and take it away, man. 1 to 3 tips that we can implement today or start to get on the path of better business.
Yeah. So, when starting a business, I've run across a lot of individuals that, just chased the dream and just went out and did it, or they were doing something as a side hustle and saw that it could replace their 9 to 5. When that does occur, the importance is making sure that you have your foundation set. One of the things that we do is at no cost, absolutely free, is we'll walk individuals through the process of registering their business, making sure that they have the appropriate name and making sure that they have the appropriate tax identification numbers so that they're able to do things above board and essentially establish their business and protect their personal finances and their personal assets. And by doing that, it's really just a matter of going through the steps. We have a website, cbcacademy.site. There's a free course on there. It'll walk you through from A to Z in setting up your business and getting your tax identification number. The tax identification number, if I can kind of segue, is very important. Over 70% of small business owners in the United States of America don't utilize it. They don't utilize it to the degree that they can. I think that's the appropriate way to kind of convey that message. Um, Most people don't know that when you have that tax identification number, it opens you up to be able to establish your business as a sole entity and have its own financial reliance, its own personal business score. The business credit score and developing it's something that has to be done intentionally. We definitely go out and we'll get like a small credit card for the business. After you get your EIN, you can open up a bank account. But there's a process that will take your business from essentially being looked at as an adolescent to actually being an adult and being responsible. In the beginning, up until you have about 10 to 14 trade references, the business owner is always going to have to co-sign for anything related to the business in terms of funding or loans or leases. By going through an intentional process of building up your business credit, our process in the end is that, once we go through that anywhere from 8 to 12 month process, that there's a big purchase, whether it be new company vehicle, whether we're looking at a company facility, but something that is obtained by the business and it's completely separate from an individual's household. One of the other benefits of business credit too is, when you're running a business day to day, you run across situations where you do run into, small financial needs and sometimes financial emergencies. Well, when we look at our personal credit is basically graded up to that 30% utilization. A number of other factors as well, but using your open credit accounts up to 30% of the utilization allows you to stay in a good light. When you go above that, then it begins to affect your credit negatively. Well, when you have a separate entity that has the ability to be flexible and has the ability to deal with the volatility of finances of owning a business, in business credit, they don't tell us. You got 30% utilization on personal credit, but in business credit, you can use 99.9% of your business credit. And as long as you pay on time, it doesn't impact your score negatively.
Oh,
So what we do is we go through that process of educating and then helping intentionally establish a adult business credit profile so that the business owner's credit is no longer taking personal inquiries and it's going specifically to the business. Um, that's definitely one of the biggest things that we educate on when it comes to the small business ownership aspect. Another financial tip is from a funding perspective. Anytime you're looking to acquire funding outside of what you specialize in and what you're doing, if you're going to major financial institutions or you're working and applying for different grants, having a business plan in place that isn't just here's my business concept, here's my business idea, here's how I'm going to make it happen, but being able to have the market analytics, the industry analytics, as well as the financial forecasting that can convey what your idea will generate over the next 5 years. That's something that we specialize in as well. There's so many different types of business plans. There's brainiacs out there that say, oh, there's 4 different types, 6 different types. Listen, at the end of the day, you can take a piece of paper, write down your business concept and your ideas, and that can serve as a business plan. But when you're actually going to take it to a financial institution, or you're looking at an organization that is either investing or applying a grant reward, you want to make sure that you have a complete plan that is ideal for their judgment, because that's what we're doing. We're taking our idea and we're putting it out there to be judged. So what we do is we work on establishing a full business plan that's geared for funding acquisition, as well as having the business concept, executive summary, and every other component that would be in a professional business plan. But the financial piece is very important. Um, Another aspect to what we do and how we operate, we understand that when you're starting a business, a lot of times resources aren't available. So not only do we as an organization operate in complete transparency, every phone conversation, every Zoom meeting that we hold is recorded, it's put in the client's file up on the secured encrypted cloud folder for them to access 24/7. But in addition to that, we also make available the resources that are available to complete these things. Um, Time is our scarcest resource unless we utilize it to our advantage. So as a business owner, do you really have the ability to sit down and draw out a 35, 40-page business plan? You could do it, and we have a template for you to do it. But what we have is an audio system where we have conversations, we go through a question answer interview, and then we're able to basically craft the business plan off of that question and answer interview. Um, and back to the resources part, we understand you may not have the resources. So what we'll do is we'll actually begin the project at operational cost, and we actually will extend up to an 11-month or actually 12-month payment scale or payment schedule on a monthly basis to make sure that we're not shortchanging anyone because they don't have the resources, but we'll work with them throughout the course of the year to make sure that we get to their end game. Because in the end, there may be a cost to what we do, but in the end, our direct result is additional funding. So if it costs a little bit to acquire funding to scale up your business, we realize that, okay, we have to do it in a way that's manageable for the client because we're literally in business for the client's success.
absolutely, man. That's phenomenal. Listen,
Yeah.
if you're looking for business consulting, contact Lafayette Crawford III. Lafayette, would you please drop that website one more time for everybody who's blessed to hear this today?
Yeah, we have our website is CB, so CB Charlie Bravo or Crawford Business, cbconsulting.site. Again, cbconsulting.site. We also have a secondary website, which is cbcacademy.site. And we're on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, but we don't really focus so much on social media. But our website, as I said, is cbconsulting.site. On there, you have the opportunity to book a discovery meeting. Discovery meetings about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll have a conversation and see if we're a good fit or we're able to actually help you on any projects. But in addition to that, we were created to give resource and give knowledge, right? So the differences, some of the differences in a capitalistic society is having access to the knowledge so that you can obtain the resources and obtain your end goal. So a lot of times I'd say probably 75% of my day is just talking to people and kind of pointing them in the right direction. Specifically why CBC Academy was developed, because on there's a free course that'll take you through a step-by-step of choosing your business name, registering it, and where to go, the different sites to get everything done A to Z. You don't have to pay anyone to register your business. There's a lot of companies out there that will charge you a nominal fee, but the majority of everything in starting a business, aside from registering with the state that has a fee, your federal tax ID number, I've seen people charge $350 to process it. You can do it for free. Establishing your credit profile with Dun& Bradstreet, I've seen people charge for that. You can do it for free. We have the links, we put them out there, we make them available. It's a free course. It's literally about 7 minutes of reading. But at the end of the day, the links to get to where you want are there. And as I said, when you're establishing your business, aside from paying your state, you can do the majority of that for free in terms of getting your name registered and getting your business formatted in the state that you're in.
Man, I'm so proud of myself for keeping my composure, because as you continue to talk, I just get more excited. Listen, if you're a business owner and you need some consulting, get with Lafayette. If you're looking to start a business, get with Lafayette. This man has the goods. He's given out so many resources. And like he pointed to so many times, resourcefulness is more important than resources. Get resourceful. Get with Lafayette. But beautiful people, thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Mo Tillis, agency owner of the Tillis Insurance Group. If you need support with high-end insurance products, reach out to myself. Lafayette, thank you so much. Peace.
Awesome. Take care, man. Thank you for having me.